In this video, I'm going to capture convolution reverbs of a skate park, an attic, and a metal workshop with a binaural microphone. A convolution reverb is a very nice way to capture and replicate only the reverb of a room. Now, in order to do that, you have to record an impulse response signal. One way is to have a sine sweep that goes from 20 to 20,000 Hertz, and another option is to actually just pop a balloon. Now, the balloon technique is a little bit limited because it doesn't play back all the frequencies at the same time, but the goal of this video is to show you a very lightweight setup that you can use to capture convolution reverbs wherever you go. And for this purpose, I will be also using this very small and handy binaural microphone. This is the KubiQ by AWI. Alright, so let's get going. Let's record some impulse responses, and when I'm done, I will come back here into the studio and load them into a convolution reverb to show you how you can use them on your productions. Alright, so this is now the sound of the KubiQ. So let's go over to the skate park. And I already prepared a tripod back here where I want to mount the microphone now. So let's screw it on here. Alright, so I think let's get the balloons. So let's wait for a quiet moment. Alright, so I think that's enough. Let's move to the next location. Now the problem in here is that there's a lot more noise coming from the outside, so it's gonna be tricky to find a quiet moment. Alright, so I think here it sounds better. The road is very close now, so I have to wait for a quiet moment. But yeah, other than that, it sounds good. And don't ask me what all that stuff is right here. Alright, next location. Let's actually close all the doors so it's a bit more quiet. You can really hear the light. Alright, so let's pop some balloons. Alright, I think that's enough. Let's go back to the studio. Alright, so I dragged now all the recordings into Ableton, and as you can see, it looks like as if the recordings are clipping, but because it was recorded in 32-bit floating point, I can just mark all the recordings and just dial down the gain a little bit until they don't clip anymore. And if you now zoom into the waveforms, you can see that it is not cut off at all. It's just a smooth waveform. And now let's select one of the recordings for each of the rooms. So for the skate park, yeah, I think this one right here is probably the best one. So let's cut it until here. And let's copy that to the back so we remember it for later. And also let's make sure that there's no fade in at the beginning and really just starts right here. Now for the attic, let's see which we want to take from here. Let's use this one right here. And for the metal workshop, sometimes you can hear the balloons falling on the ground, but I think this one is nice. So now let's remove all of these recordings that we don't need anymore. And let's freeze and flatten these tracks. So bounce track in place. So this just makes sure that you cannot open the recording anymore. It's really just one sample like this. Now back here I already prepared a little beat, which sounds like that. What I want to do now is I want to try these different reverb sounds on the drums, on the synthesizer, and on the vocals. So for that, let's create a return track right here. And let's go to Audio Effects and add the Convolution Reverb Pro to the return track. Now first, let's make sure that it's 100% wet, so you only can hear the reverb. And now you can very simply just drag and drop these impulse responses directly onto the reverb. So this is now the SKATEPARK reverb. So let's only solo the drums top. And let's hear how that sounds like if we add that reverb to this. It sounds pretty nice. Now let's see how that sounds like on the synthesizer. So that's without. Kind of boring and dry. Oof. Wow, that sounds so nice. I didn't expect that at all. Now let's create a second return track. And let's call that Attic. And on here we also add the Convolution Reverb again. And now let's drag and drop the Attic onto here. So this is much smaller. Let's also make sure that it's 100% wet. And let's hear how that sounds like on the drums. Yeah, that's really nice. It's actually much better to have a bit shorter reverb for the drums instead of the SKATEPARK. Alright, so now let's also do the last one. So this is the metal workshop. And let's hear how it sounds like on the vocals. It sounds really nice. So this is without the reverb. And that's with the reverb. Now with Convolution Reverbs, you can get really creative. You can also load up some very random samples that have nothing to do with reverb. Or what you can also do is you can reverse the reverbs that you recorded and use them. So let's actually try it with the Attic and let's reverse that. So just press R in Ableton. Let's shorten that a bit, like that. So now let's put that onto a new convolution reverb. So the reversed sample that we made. It's just a really nice sound design thing that you can use to create random soundscapes. Here it almost sounds like a delay. So yeah, it's an endless game with convolution reverbs. You can really try out so many different things and mess around with it. Now, I recorded it with a binaural microphone, and if you listen to that with headphones, it should give you a little bit a sense of the space around you, so a little bit more depth and height. Now, if you want to get your own KubiQ microphone, make sure to use the code in the description at checkout to get 10% off. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one in the future, and I see you on the next one. Thanks for listening.